Okay, good. Okay, so now I'm calling the work session to order, and I am yes, so I'm calling the work session order, and I'm turning the leadership over to our distinguished council president.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the first item on our agenda is the building report by the town permit administrator, alias Steve. So, Steve.
Hello again. Updated the report. All of the updates are highlighted in yellow. The process I'm trying to use is when a project is complete, all the work is done, I'll indicate with that a phrase to that effect, project complete or completed, highlighted in yellow, and then the next month that address, that project will drop off this report. It will be renewed. But just to bring the photo, you're supposed to just disappear. And you'll notice in that regard, there are actually sort of two updates to 4716 Fallstone Ave, which has some fence issues or concerns. Those have all been addressed from the town perspective. I can highlight, so we talked about 4822 Cumberland just now, 5520 Trent Street. We just clarified, or I just verified that the county approved plans are essentially the same as the town approved plans, so the town manager will be able to issue the permit for that this week, tomorrow, I guess. And I have met the new homeowners at 5401 Uppingham Street. That's the one of the Demas projects. They're looking forward to moving in and becoming part of the town. But that project apparently is running a couple of weeks ahead. I don't know the exact reasons, I think that's sort of it. Any questions?
On 4905 Cumberland, do you know if the owner is reconfiguring the driveway to correct its height relative to the neighbors?
Yes. Thank you for asking that. Yes, I've had some discussions with the homeowner. He was under the impression in some conversations we had with county DPS, Department of Permitting Services, that he couldn't do the work because his building permit was closed. But I worked with DPS, confirmed that in essence, this is just a minor change to a non-structural element of the property. It does not require a permit. So the homeowner is ready to proceed. The homeowner has asked that I be present when they finalize, when his contractor finalizes the build of the new driveway to ensure that it satisfies the in accordance with the plans, and I will do so. They don't have a timeline, but my sense is near term, in 2 to 4 weeks.
Thank you. All right. So other questions? Debbie?
No questions. Thanks, Steve.
Rohit?
Yes, on 4714 Essex, you refer to this reforestation plan. Can we just have confirmation about whether the reforestation plan envisages any shrubbery being planted in the town's right of way?
Tolbert here. I believe the answer is no. But there was one old disheveled shrub.
We can send it. We can send it.
I'll send the plan there.
Okay.
We can ask Dr. Feather to get back to you.
Yeah, and just because I think, we've been quite clear that any new plantings in town right of way do require approval for that, so. And then my other question was on 4712 Fallstone. First of all, again, I want to thank you very much for getting that sidewalk repaired. I'm trying to understand this extension of the driveway. So we're going to have a larger driveway surface area than currently planned, and I'm trying to understand what the sort of. When you say there are no stormwater management concerns, but anytime we add, even with the permeable driveway, there is going to be more runoff, so. I want to understand what's happening there and what's being studied and what the implications are. Thanks.
The homeowner or the contractor has indicated that the prospective homeowners, the people who are moving in, wants an additional parking spot in the front of the house. So they have shared a concept drawing with the town hall. And they've indicated that this extension to create a parking space would be permeable. So in accordance with our town code, that's a transparent event with regards to stormwater, and it's no impact on like structural area, block development. And Somerset does not have a restriction on non-vegetative surface area. So I think if they wish to proceed with that, it would be in accordance with the town's code.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think, I don't have any, I would just have a general remark that it probably raises the question whether we should have some sort of a restriction on non-vegetative, and I think Shannon has talked about lot coverage ratios and things like that. I think that, converting our yards into parking lots is something that we should be concerned about, even if it's not a stormwater issue. There is, of course, the question of the sort of loss of greenery and so on. So I just want to flag that maybe in some future work session, we can have a discussion about what is good practice in municipalities regarding restricting the amount of non-vegetative surface area in Somerset. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
agree
Rohit.
with that. I think we
We
should
can
definitely
put
do that.
that, we'll bring that.
All right, Shannon,
I have no
any
question.
comments?
Nope.
All right, Kabir.
I don't have a question. I'm curious about the Essex pool work, but I'll follow up with Steve separately on that.
Yes,
Thank
it's what?
There's a pool project administratively approved. I'm just curious about it, but I'll follow up with him separately on that front. But no questions on the rest of the report. Thank you, Steve.
Kabir, you are so well spoken that there's an echo. That's why sometimes it's hard to hear what you're saying.
You want me to repeat myself?
No, I think we got that one. I got it. Everyone else heard it okay?
Now we heard fine.
I don't know what to do with the echo. Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next agenda item then. Thank you, Steve. So it is the town manager's report, and EJ, do you want to go over the highlights?
Yeah, I'll go over the highlights and then happy to answer any questions either now or of course later, since I sent it later than that with a light. First, the installation of solar panels at the pool house has been completed. Before the project closes out, we need a final inspection in Montgomery County that is currently being scheduled. Safe Sidewalks Day began today. They'll have to do some second passes on some spots, but they covered Dorset, Cumberland, Essex, most of Warwick, Eel, Devon, Wisconsin today.
Wow.
Street sign replacement refurbishment is still in progress and making progress on that, as well as street markings. One note on the street markings, and you may have already seen it, is that for the street markings on the ground, that's a pedestrian crossing and then stop. At Cumberland and Warwick, they actually put it in the wrong spot where it was supposed to be put on the approach of Warwick Lane to Cumberland, but they put it on Warwick Place to Cumberland. So luckily that still actually works as a spot, but then they also will be coming back to correct it and do it at the right spot. Additional miscellaneous markings are also pending. For all the Dewberry items approved at the October 6th meeting, task orders have been executed and survey work is underway, began today. For development of a woodlands care plan for Beacon Park, Town Council at its last work session approved a plan to work with the Forest Service. The Forest Service went ahead and conducted a site visit last week, and then the questionnaire has been sent to the Parks and Natural Resources Committee as well as the town arborist. Pool Bridge restoration. So at the last work session, I said that I was looking to see if the timber decking could be repaired first, and kind of that which would take care of the most immediate issue for many residents, and then could focus on the rest of the repair. That is possible. So I'm currently working to do very repair construction RFP for timber decking, so we can get that taken care of. Pedestrian scale lighting, kickoff work session is scheduled for December, with the winter survey being in December, spring survey in June, final document expected in July 2026. So for the Creekside Pool Fence, closed all the gaps in the procurement process, which led to 8 additional bids, though 1 is withdrawn and they're varying quality. But I did a police security assessment. I'm actually doing a full write-up for the Council and Public Safety Committee. But the most immediate effect the assessment has had on the creek fence is that originally we were looking to do a 6 feet fence, but the Montgomery County Police recommended a 7 feet fence. They did not recommend to go any higher than that. So I reached out to all the applicants, or all the bidders, I should say, for a 6 foot and 7 foot option. And now I've gotten all those back. And so now I can prepare a memo for the council with potential proposal approval at the November 3rd council meeting for the speed hump rumble strip restoration, and then also some various pothole fixes. The traffic group has furnished a rumble strip exhibit to move them back, and then a proposal with a asphalt company is being currently finalized. Sidewalk regrading, this was originally slated as part of Dewberry's work, but because it's more about landscaping than hardscaping, it's sort of been separated from that, and so I'm currently in contact with several different companies, kind of comparing their solutions. And this is actually over to a kind of new project just started, which is rectification of sidewalk water pooling spots. So at several sidewalk spots, primarily along Dorset, are where water pools during storms, and we want to take care of that. So site visit by me and then Councilmember Connor joined was completed, and this possibly catalog. We've been working with a group called Groundsmith Collective. This project had a brief pause for personal reasons for Groundsmith Collective, but it's been back on. They're publishing with us a Town of Somerset Sustainable Landscapes Operations and Maintenance Manual. An initial draft is complete. I looked over it. I had to make some changes, and so it's expected to be published in winter 2025. But it will be presented at a work session though before that happens. Behind the scenes, we've been working with an expert named Donna Colley on our records management systems. And so currently in progress is for disposing of records. Disposal means 2 things, depending on it either means sending them to state archives in Annapolis or destroying them, creating an updated records file plan and updating our record retention schedules. Town entrance beautification. Once this Town of Somerset Sustainable Landscapes Operations and Maintenance Manual is published, it'll be used as a guide to beautify town entrances. Composting of the Somerset Pool pilot was complete with the close of 2025 season. And Deputy Manager Justin Burgett is currently preparing an assessment for the Environment Committee and the Pool Committee, who will then have a chance to review, and then will be brought to the council. I've reached out to Pepco regarding the new streetlight at Warwick Landing, Cumberland, awaiting their response. An exhibit furnished by the traffic group shows the best placement for it. Establishment of ethics policies, initial version presented at the September 15th work session, revisions in progress. Revisions to chapter 13 of the town code, initial version in progress. Establishment of comprehensive sign policy in progress. Establishment of food truck policy, this was presented back in the summer, and I need to connect with Ron to discuss that more. Establishment of a security camera policy, discussions including at work sessions involving the mayor, county council, town staff, and public safety committee are ongoing. Website refresh to ensure all information is accurate, accessible, and useful is currently in progress. Smart search online forms for website, company called Polymorphic. The Somerset Smart Search has been on the website for some time and was actually the winner of the 2024 Intel Maryland Municipal Achievement Award. The Walter J. Baer Tennis Courts registration and newcomers forms are now online, and we're currently working on getting the permit application, the town rental application, and the town council application on the website and digitized before the end of the calendar year. Resident Request Center, development of Resident Request Center, where residents can make requests, receive a request number, and be updated on the request. We examined Revise's system. Revise is the company that powers the town's website. It's a potential option, but it is also very, very bare bones. We've also been in talks with a company called GoGov about their bundled product that includes a resident request center, citizen notification center, and a actual town app. Project management system, development of a project management system, to keep an active and evolving list of the various town projects. We've done a tech demo with a company called Diversified Technology, and we're scheduling tech demos with other companies. And then grant application, we're almost done grant applications. Somerset is currently actually in the midst of applying for 3 grants. We're applying for the Sustainable Maryland Action Grant, which we're allowed to apply for because we were certified last year as a Sustainable Maryland town. That due date is November 5th. We're applying for the Local Government Energy Modernization Program, or ELGIN, which is due December 5th. And then also we're potentially applying for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, which is a grant for energy audits and feasibility studies. Through UNL, I was connected with a company called Sustainergy, which would actually help the town apply. And it would be the company that does the audits and feasibility studies. It doesn't cost the county anything because it would be fully funded by the grant. I've sent, before any decision is made, though, I have sent contract to the town attorney for review. Applications for that is due December 12th. Renovation of basketball court, currently need to finish that so it can be published in winter 2025, so that the renovation itself can occur in spring 2026. Basically the same for the replacement and of the roof and blue painting the town hall garage. We're purchasing a new work truck, and so we're currently looking at various options. Recently, multiple residents have brought to the town's attention that the tennis backboard, which you can see from the window over there, is in need of some repair, and so it will be included as a separate item in the request of proposals for the renovation of the town basketball court for the town council to consider. And then finally, procurement of a new snow removal and ice remediation contract. RFP was proposed, was published and enclosed. 2 bids were received. Potential proposal approved. Potential proposal approval at the November 3rd council meeting. And then not on the report, but the last thing I have is that the Dewberry Charrette, originally at the October 6th meeting, they said that it would not be ready until the beginning of the year. They have revised that. They can actually do it in the first week of December. One date that works for them in particular is December 1st, which we already have a council meeting scheduled. And so the mayor and I wanted to bring to the council's attention if scheduling the charrette for sometime in that first week of December. Dewberry could work, theoretically do other days that week, but for sure they can do December 1st.
So what's everybody's pleasure?
I can do December 1st.
What's everybody's pleasure? Because we really should decide
I'm
tonight.
traveling from the 2nd onwards, so.
So the 1st is fine with you.
Yeah, if it works out, at least.
Second.
How long does it take?
I believe it's supposed to take 2 hours, but it's also possible that it goes over depending on.
And so
Balance
can,
everything.
but we could do, so you would want to do the meeting and the charrette at the same night, right?
I don't know. if we
think
can.
that's Good idea.
Well, it's
Can we
up
do
to
it?
all of you.
Can we do an afternoon for the charrette?
Well, I mean, if people are working, that
Yeah.
you want to do an evening meeting, so it's allow them to come to the charrette. I think we should probably, I mean, well, the idea is to have the council meeting on a separate day. If the charrette, we don't want to limit the charrette, it's the point. We should probably let it run its course. And if we're worried about having a council meeting at the same time, it's a
So-
problem.
So it's up to all of you. So you want to have the charrette in the evening on the 1st. That's the
But
first
what
thing
would
to
be-
agree
what
to.
happens then in the council meeting?
Move it 2 weeks was a suggestion I heard anyway, that have it on December 15th.
Okay.
Does that work for
I'm fine-
everybody?
I'm fine with that.
And then if necessary, if there's So we could do that, and then if for some reason there's an urgent item, there could be, we can schedule a special council meeting at some point. Okay, so you got your answer right. So now we can announce all.
So
that.
no work session then on the 15th, we'll have a council meeting. That
Well,
we'll
maybe
see.
we'll see, but
Maybe
definitely the
both.
council meeting. For now, they're both scheduled for that night. We'll figure it out later.
Okay. Works.
All right, so thank you, and I'm sure there will be questions on it. So I'm gonna just stay with. I've been asking questions about Pool Bridge now for 3 years, by the way. So I mean, this is a long tradition for me. Are Dewberry aware that it would be highly desirable to have it finished before the pool season starts?
Yes, and the timber decking will not be a problem for the beginning of the pool season. I'm still working on them to nail down the exact timing for the rest of the work. It should be completely reasonable. It's completely reasonable though to expect that all work can be completed before the beginning of the next pool season.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, can I just follow up on that question?
Sure.
What is the other work that will be needed? That's what I'm not sure about. I understand the timber decking, but what is other work?
So it's the, basically, I can send you the inspection report from the end of last year, but there's some issues with the metal abutments that are below the timber decking that need some repair, as well as, there's a runoff situation, which to explain it, that actually is causing the, metal abutment problem in the first place that needs to be fixed. And then there's just some masonry work that needs to be done.
Thank you.
All right, so questions on the manager's report then. Kabir, you can go first this time.
Yeah, just picking up on that pool bridge. Can you hear me, by the way?
Oh,
I
loud and
guess.
clear.
Now we can.
I didn't change anything on my end, so I'm glad. The question I have is, why can't we start the pool bridge construction next week?
I mean, so what could happen is that, if the town council doesn't want to go through a procurement, through the full RFP process, it could be issued as an emergency contract. I would still need to get a contractor, but, if the council wants it, that soon, then I can move to get a contractor in front of the council as soon as possible.
And do you have a read now on the end-to-end timeline for that work?
For the timber decking, or just for the whole renovation or the timber decking?
The whole renovation of, yeah.
The timber decking, at the current pace should be easily completed. Unless if some extreme weather event happens prior to the end of the calendar year. And then the rest of the work would, be completed, either, in the early spring before the pool opens.
You mean the structural work?
Yeah,
Okay.
the work on the substructure, yeah.
So we do the work on the substructure after we do the work on the decking?
Yeah, which is, yeah, we would do work on the superstructure first, followed by work on the substructure, yes.
You know, I don't have a clear sense of all the details, but partly why I was asking that question is we will have a mini town mutiny if that pool is not functional at the start of the pool season. And so I know you're saying, I hear you, I know it, but that's the one item that has very little details in your very wonderful table. You know, we don't have a price, we don't have clear timelines. So I continue to be anxious that it's going to slip. And, you know, we will all stand by you to explain it to the rest of the town, but the town will not be happy about that.
And I will note too that the good news is that the substructure work would not affect pedestrian traffic. It could be, they couldn't work at the exact same time as people are using it, but they could work around it. The only time the bridge would be closed to any sort of traffic would be during that timber decking replacement.
Yeah, but that's not an ideal, right? We don't
Yeah.
want that.
Oh, yeah, and my goal is to get it done before then.
I mean, if there is an expedited plan that the rest of the council could, you know, reasonably consider, I would be interested in that. So we can move quickly
Okay,
this stage.
I will, I'll follow up on that immediately.
I had a second question, which is just for our benefit. Could you connect the sections in your table on the road sidewalk work to the discussion we had last time on the Dewberry plan, just to draw, because they're more itemized here, just if you can help connect the dots for us on that front.
Yes, so I believe what you're asking is, what I could do for the table is when the council approved the Dewberry plan, they approved it. The council approved phases 1, 2, and 3, and then phase 7. So I broke the phases up into different items on the table, but and the phase number is irrelevant. They're all going to be proceeding at the same time. But Cumberland Surrey reconstruction is phase 1 in the Dewberry report. Cumberland Deal is phase 2. Essex sidewalk is phase 3, and the charrette is phase 7.
Great, thank you.
All right, Shannon? Any questions on any of the items on the report?
No, but I like, it's very spelled out and I really like how it looks.
EJ, say thank you.
Thank you very much. I can take off-
Well, let's give credit to Councilor Khan,
Councilor Khan that kind of helped me develop.
who's kind of his idea.
All right.
Good idea.
Well, anyways, I think that it looks great and it's like very succinct.
All right, Debbie.
I don't agree with Kabir. I don't think you should rush through getting a contractor to do the bridge. I think you should get the best contractor to do the bridge. And if you say you think it'll be done by the end of the year, that's great. You know, that's way before the pool opens in the spring. But I think you should take your time to get the best contractor we can, so we don't screw anything up and we don't do not a good job. So that's where I am on this. And when you say, I know we'd have to close the bridge, and I know that will bother the pedestrians walking up to Friendship Heights, I get that. But do you have any sense yet how long this would take once we close the bridge to do the decking?
Actually not, I will get that answer and then get it back to the council. Don't want to be out of turn, I don't believe it would take that long, but before I give a definitive answer, I'll reach out and get a better answer for you.
And the other reason I think you can't rush this is we're gonna have to do some outreach to the neighborhood that we're closing the bridge. And we're gonna have to say it again and again and again. So most of the people will hear us and everybody's not going to hear it. And all of a sudden they're gonna be, oh my God, the bridge is closed. Well, they missed the, the email. So
I thought they said that there's a way that they can do a temporary thing, so you can.
That could also be an option.
So for the people that are walking, I think we asked you, didn't we ask you for that? They could do some temporary thing, so you just walk down and then they'll do some temporary stuff over and walk up. I think they can do that.
Right.
We should ask them, but I'm pretty sure they said that.
But I wouldn't compromise anything in terms of getting this done, because if we have to close the bridge, we have to close the bridge. You know, I'd rather do it right.
Is that it, Debbie?
I'm sorry, I'm done.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks. And Rohit.
Yeah, thanks very much. So
I just want to be clear. I don't think I said anything that said I don't want it done right, Debbie.
No, you didn't say that, but you said
But
that
you
starting tomorrow.
implied that. You just
No,
implied that.
What you implied was that we have to get this done and it has to be done right away because the pool's
I
gonna
did not
open.
imply that it shouldn't be done right,
I know you didn't say that.
but you just implied that.
Can
I
I,
did not.
Could I-
Okay,
could
don't
I-
say
could
what-
I-
Excuse me. Don't say what I did and didn't do.
Oh,
I'll
you
tell
did imply that. I'm sorry.
I did imply
I
that.
spend a lot of time in board meetings. I know when things are.
That's fine. Don't try to put me down. The point
I'm not
is.
putting you down. You
that I
implied,
think it's
you
important to
implied
do
that
it
I
slow
don't
and
want
right.
the
And
quality
I'm not gonna
work.
argue with you.
I'm going to step in. I am
I'm
going to
just saying
step
that
in.
we've had weeks of very
Kabir,
precise information on this.
Kabir,
If we are not serious about it, we will have a problem.
I'm
What-
sorry if I offended you. I
okay, what I'm
certainly
trying,
didn't
what I'm
Not
trying to say,
offended. I'm just
what I
not
am trying to
agreeing
say
with
to
your
both
judgment.
of you is that what is clear is we see the bridge as urgent. We see it as extremely important that be done before the start of the pool season. And we also see it as extremely important that be done well. I think we're all agreed on that, and EJ has heard us loud and clear.
Yeah,
That's it.
we need the results. That's all I'm saying. We agree.
All right.
We need the results.
Rohit.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead bridge.
Please don't.
But just, I mean, the only point I want to make regarding the bridge is, given the sensitivity of the timing, first of all, I mean, I do not want an expedited procurement thing. I want it done properly. So I think in the beginning you said if the council wants to wait, I do not want that, so I want to make that clear. I do think that if it is necessary to have a special council meeting off cycle for us to review and approve a bid for the contract, I'm in favor of that. You know, let's hope we can find the time. I don't want to have to wait 1 month or 2 weeks even, if we can get it done. So that's just on the bridge procurement. I think that, so first of all, let me just go back to I'm very happy to see this project status report. And I think it helps us really understand the sheer amount of work that the town staff has got on its plate. So I know we're discussing this project management system as a separate agenda item, but I think I just want to say that if you see this report, you realize how important it is to have a project management system that sort of automates tracking and reporting, given the sheer volume of projects that we have. I just want to connect these two items. The other thing I would say is that just as a general point, again, for consideration of my fellow council members, I really wonder whether the current human resources we have is adequate for the implementation and supervision of all of these projects. Especially infrastructure projects are complicated, they require constant attention, adjustment. And so, one of the things I wanted to ask is whether it is possible to enhance the capacity of our town staff in terms, at least for the next 1 year, while the ARPA money has to be spent in particular, so that we do not lose that money, whether we can have additional capacity to support EJ, Justin, Linda, to deliver on this work program.
Well, Councilor McConnell, you know, we do have our Mr. Circo.
Right, so this is what I wanted to ask specifically. Is it possible to add more days to perhaps expand a little bit his terms of reference, so that he is more than just a building administrator, but also perhaps a public works advisor to EJ and the
That's a
staff.
good question. I mean, I think he has that background, but I'll let you address that.
I plan to meet with Mr. Circo and discuss that since.
Okay, that'll be great, because I think, project supervision is complicated and.
Well, we will get back to you, and as you know, in a lot of situations, towns hire like a construction concierge. So the town manager will assess whether Mr. Circo has the capacity. You know, he does have a lot of.
I know he has.
He only works part-time. No, but we're his primary client.
Yeah.
So we will discuss that.
Anyway,
and
so
get
if
back
you could
to
just look into the options for enhancing
Yes.
our supervision capacity for.
Yes.
projects.
We will definitely.
Just a few items on specific things. Could you just explain specifically a few things? One is, what is the timeline for the street sign replacements? It'd be good generally to have schedule for each of the column, but I mean, I know this is the first shot at it. But in future, it'd be good just to have a timeline for each of the items.
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in knowing just what's happening on the street signs. And the second question I had was this Town of Somerset Sustainable Landscape Operations Maintenance and Manual. How does this relate to the Woodland Stewardship and Care Plan for Vinton Park? I mean, is there some overlap here? Are they different things? And the last question I had is on the 3 grants. Could you just clarify what the 3 grants are for? And of course, I'm very happy that, you know, that we are being proactive and in using free money rather than town budget for these things, so that's great. But just what are the 3 grants for? Thanks. Those are my 3 questions.
So for the first question for street sign replacement, I'm currently scheduling with the company, the installation days for the cracked and faded signs. So that should be, within the next week or 2. Once I have an exact date, I can let the council know. And then, working on we're in the manufacturing stage for the ineligible signs. And then we're also about to install the new signs at 5525, 5527 Surrey, and the 2 Devon Dorset intersection and the Royal Lane Cumberland intersection. Yeah, so
And then the town is also sustainable landscapes operations manual and the Vinton Park plan.
So, basically, they're separate because the manual basically covers all the, I guess you could say, like manicured areas of like Capella Park, Founders Park, Rain Gardens. Well, Vinton Park is a nature park, which is a bit more wild. And then your final question was,
What are the 3 grants we're applying for?
yes, so the first grant is, every year Sustainable Maryland does the Sustainable Maryland Action Grant. So it's for sort of any environmental related sustainability project. So we have a couple of options and we're actually working with the, we can apply for 2. So we kind of have the, application drawn up, and so we need to send it to the Environment Committee, and the Environment Committee will basically, give a recommendation on which 2 they think would, they would like to see most. The Elgin is for any power project. So the main thing we're applying there is we have solar panels on the town hall. We're gonna apply to see if we can get anything for the just installed solar panels on the Somerset Pool. And then we're also gonna apply to get, see if we could get a grant for installing solar panels on the Public Works Garage, which would be great since we're replacing the roof this year. And then the final one, the ECBG grant, it's specifically for energy audits. So it would basically, if we got the grant, we could do a detailed energy audit of town hall, the Public Works Garage, and the town pool. That would basically not only show how much power is being used, but where it's being used, by what machines. We can see what things are working in terms of power draw as intended, what maybe not. And then that would be followed by a feasibility study where they would, we would get a study of how we could bring down our energy use, how to enhance it, and how to make it more green sustainable.
Thanks. So I just want to come back to these sort of energy grants. Is it possible, for example, for these grants to fund the installation of batteries? I don't think of batteries that, you know, and they're pretty expensive, and I wonder if these grants can cover the cost of batteries either here or at the pool.
I'll double check, but I believe the Elgin application, I believe the Elgin grant can, I'll double check that.
Okay. And then also whether any of these grants, if we do decide to proceed with the purchase of a new work truck, will it be an electric truck or is it too big to do?
This one would be too big to be electric.
All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, one last question. One of the items that we approved for use of ARPA funds was all the design plans for all of the 7 priorities originally. We've taken out one of them with the sidewalk regrading, and we're doing 3. That still leaves a couple. One of them is the ADA ramps to get all our ramps ADA compliant was one. We're supposed to have a plan for that. There was another one, I can't even remember what that one is, but you haven't got that on your schedule yet, but maybe.
I'll add them to the table just so that they are there, but basically, once the first 3 phases in the charrette, once the survey work is completed for the first 3 phases, and once the charrette happens, is when DPR will move on to also start working on those other those other items.
All right, they're not capable of doing the things simultaneously since that's paperwork and the other stuff is not. They can't.
Yeah, it's,
I doubt they have the capacity to do surveys and construction planning in the charrette design.
yeah, it's a
Program.
capacity issue.
All right, all right, all right. We'll leave it at that. Okay, any other questions from anyone on the town manager's report? Okay, we'll move on then to discussion on the project management system and the public safety memorandum. I was a little bit disappointed, I will say, in the public safety memorandum that came through to the town. Although there was an attempt to say the staff were not to blame, it had the whole feeling of laying it on the staff, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate. And I recognize that a project management system has its advantages, and it's something that the town certainly can consider and use. I really think that was a very poor way to convey it to the town. Okay, anyway, moving on to project management system. Who would like to comment first? Debbie?
I admit, I don't know much about this project management system. I wonder if I missed the memo. I did read through. I might have missed that in the stuff, so I really can't go first. I'll have to.
All
listen.
right, okay. Kabir, since you have to run away, so go ahead.
I don't have any strong opinion. I'm glad we are exploring it. Is there any specific feedback that would be helpful to the town staff?
At this point, I think maybe perhaps the best, since we are looking into it already, I think perhaps the best feedback would be if there is specific functions that the council would like to see potentially included in any implementation of a project management system.
All right.
Well, on that front, one quick follow-up, Robin. EJ, is this going to be the central sort of mechanism for you to drive projects across the town hall? Will this also include procurement procedures? Like, do you envision this to be the end-to-end sort of operating system to manage projects, or do you envision this to be more narrowly defined and useful?
At this time, I more consider it a kind of active database that has all the town projects, kind of like this manager's report where it has all the projects. It's available to the staff, to the public, to like all the elected officials. That has all the details of what the project is, what the funding situation is, what the status is, who we're contracting with. I think it could definitely have more, and more functionality. The better. If that's and that's something we can definitely explore. At the moment, though, that's kind of was my general thinking.
My only thought is, in my experience, having done this with various companies, these kinds of things, this can become a very messy, complicated thing that doesn't yield results you want. And you spend a lot of time trying to just get it to a point where it's minimally functional. So, I appreciate the spirit of exploring this. As I mentioned earlier, I'm glad we're doing it, but just keep that in mind. We may end up spending a lot of time and, not have much value out of it. And these technologies are very rapidly changing. We've invested in polymorphic, in part being very forward. These things then need to be upgraded. The data systems need to be upgraded. So just keep all of those pieces in mind. And when you have specific questions, I'm very happy to be of help.
Thank you.
Shannon?
I mean, I agree, I think, with what has been said in terms of, having EJ really kind of look into it and see if you guys think that there's something that would be helpful for you to do. But, if we don't find a good working project management system, I think that, I think it's up to EJ and Justin really to kind of be the owners of this and see if this is something that would make their lives easier.
And Rohit.
Yeah, well, I'm completely in favor of it. I think, I don't agree with the characterization that these can be a waste of money. Spent my career at the World Bank with excellent project management software, and it made all the difference in how we track and reported. I think it's important as a tracking tool, but it's also important as accountability and transparency tool for residents. So I know that you've talked to diversified technologies, what you've said over here. I guess what I would like to try to understand from you, EJ, is there a sort of, the Public Safety Committee has said, for us to vote by February next month, so that you have something in place by February. I mean, what do you think is a reasonable time frame for us to have such a system in place? But I also want to just say, I think there's at least 3, if not 4, sort of information technology, e-government kind of line items in your report here. And I think what would be useful is if maybe at the next work session, could we get a sort of a more complete briefing on what these different technologies are? Maybe, I don't know if you can have one of the vendors come and do a presentation. I mean, I was very fortunate that at the MML summer conference, I was able to see a lot of the demos at the expo there.
That's a good idea.
So I would like to dedicate a council work session. We can do it in November, that would be great. Just to get some demos of all these different things and for us to understand sort of what is applicable to the town. All of us like some of these tiny objects, but when you see them, you say, well, this doesn't really apply. And as Kabir says, some of this stuff may be locking us into some technologies, and but we really don't know until we've had a chance to see it. So that's what I would like.
We'll figure out a schedule.
So that's what I would like to.
It depends on when they're available. We might have to do it during the day.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, if
Yeah,
we can
we'll
have some
figure
sort
it
of a
out.
demo from
We'll figure it
a
out.
briefing to the council on
Yeah.
different options.
We'll figure it out.
Good idea.
Thanks.
The one thing I would add is and I spent a third of my career at the World Bank, but if the World Bank is the benchmark, I would be doubly concerned. That's a massive sprawling bureaucracy with systems that often failed. And so, but
You seem to be in an antagonistic mood today.
no,
Take a
I'm
chill
not.
pill.
I'm not well, with all due
Yeah.
respect,
all due
disagreeing
respect.
is not, no, disagreeing is not antagonism.
Yeah, but this kind of, if you want to have a discussion on the World Bank, let's have that separately.
No,
This is complete
May I finish?
nonsense statement, Kabir.
No,
The World Bank does not have fail systems.
no, what,
You cannot make such statements in a public forum like this.
no, you said well, I'm sorry, I have a point of view, that's all, it's just a
It's
different point of
wrong.
view.
It's plain, simple wrong.
All right, can we move on?
No, all I'm saying is
Please?
that
Cannot
there are
say
many
that.
people who might find a different point of view on these systems. My experience with these systems were different than yours.
Try again. Can we
I'm
move
wrong.
on, please?
And,
I work in the
I
long
would like to get a word in.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Robin, but I
Yeah.
haven't finished my point. I was interrupted and lectured.
Okay, quickly.
All I'm saying is that, we should be clear-eyed about these. These things can be very messy. And I have worked both in the public sector and the private sector, and I can tell you that they can be messy. But I share the spirit of wanting to do it.
Totally irrelevant conversation.
I share the spirit of wanting to do it. And just be careful that it could be very messy as when we go.
All right. Thank you. A few thoughts myself, if we're going to do this. Be very clear in your own minds what you want out of the project management system. Okay. One thing I want is transparency. And what I mean by that is it's something you can put on the website so that residents can see the status of projects. And I think that is a useful goal that we do not have at the moment. But what you've done here is half of a project management system already. So, I mean, you're getting there anyway, at least in conception. You want this online rather than on paper, but that's it. But what I'm saying is to make it work, you have to decide yourself what you want out of it, how it's going to help you. And if you've got a clear idea of that, you can choose a system that's going to work for you.
Did you see stuff at, any of these at MML this summer that tickled you in some way?
The GoGov, which is a company that we're kind of thinking about trying to do something with, and then the diversified technology, which we have picked them up with as well.
All right, we're going to move on to another public safety memorandum. This one is on the use of cameras in town facilities. And do we have Kumar Vaswani anywhere to talk about it, or?
Kumar Vaswani is not on the Zoom.
Okay, all right. Have we all read the memorandum at this point?
Yes.
Okay, it's quite detailed and is listing a large number of factors that we want to consider in developing a policy. And so who would like to comment on the memorandum, first of all, whether they agree with it?
I would say a few things.
Yeah.
There's really a lot in there, and I was left wondering if what needs to be done, and I don't know how the council feels about this, is to task the committee,
Public Safety Committee.
thank you, the Public Safety Committee, with developing a policy and bring it to us, and then that would be a framework for us to jump off of and to agree or not agree. And I don't know if it's appropriate or not.
That's the whole idea. So the whole idea is when committees make recommendations, they're forwarded to the council, and the council decides whether to accept them or to reject them or to pass it back to that's what the beauty of the process is.
I think they've done a
So
lot of
it's
good
whatever
thinking
you-
and a lot of
whatever you
good
think.
work. And I think we should task, if everybody agrees, I think we should task them with developing the policy.
All right, thank you. Rohit, you can go second this time.
Yeah, well, I agree with Debbie. I think the offer has been made from the public safety committee to draft something for our consideration, and I welcome that. I think they've raised a number of very valid points. I assume they're going to address those points in their own draft. Let's wait for that outcome.
All right, all right. Kabir, I know you're about to run off, so any comments?
Yes, I'm solo parenting and I have a hungry child, so I'm gonna switch to quick cooking shortly. I also tend to agree with Debbie. I think if they've offered, we should take them up on it.
All right, and Shannon.
I agree.
Okay, all right. A couple of comments myself. I think they need some guidance from us to develop the policy. One, for example, I don't think we want the camera active when the pool is open. We only want it active in the evenings and nighttime when the pool is closed, but I don't know what do other council members feel.
Well, for that kind of thing, why don't you wait to see what they propose?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
discuss it.
right.
I mean, I don't think, you
well,
don't need to direct them like that, unless you want to say, what hours do you propose?
Well, I mean, there are other things like that. Do we want a camera on the tennis courts? Do we think it necessary?
Again, that's something that you want the committee to make a recommendation, and then you can decide.
I think we should let them do their work.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
I mean, my suggestion, Robin, is there's no harm in perhaps each of us individually giving some feedback to Kumar. I mean, he sent a memo. You or I individually, without involving the entire council, can give them feedback on what we think should or shouldn't be there. But I agree, we're going to have the chance to come back to discuss all of these things anyway, so. But you raise, I mean, all the points you raise are completely valid and will need to be addressed in the policy for sure. Location, who determines location, operation hours and so on.
All right, all right. Okay, well, we can move on then. So we are recommending that the Public Safety Memorandum be developed, Public Safety Committee develop a draft policy for us to review on use of cameras at town facilities. Okay, we've now got the ordinances. to look at quickly. I think we can do it quickly. So there's the first of all, the real property sale disclosure. And the second one is the landlord-tenant relations. They are parallel. So I will take the two together. Let's see, Shannon disappeared? Or you,
She's a hungry child
she has
also.
to go.
two hungry children? Okay, there are only three of us left.
But.
Still on the Zoom, all
So
right.
the idea with this item is that, because these two items have been thoroughly processed.
Right.
So the whole idea is whether it's ready to go on to be voted on. And if anyone has any changes, they can chew it over before it goes. To avoid having prolonging the council session. And so that's why it's on here, just to
All right,
protect everybody's possibility of an amendment.
all right. So does anybody have any further amendments to the first one, which is the sale of property one? And we have already amended it and the amendments have been made as far as I can see.
My understanding is this has not been changed since the introduction of the council. Is that correct, Mr. Town?
That's correct.
All right, and on the landlord-tenant one, again, we had some changes, they have been made, including the change that was made since the last session. Any comments on that? Okay, then we can.
I just want to say that this is a giant step forward. And I really, this was Councilor O'Connor's idea, which is brilliant. So I'm having been in the business, I'm very excited about it. Because I think it's gonna really prevent a lot of problems in the future for the town staff.
All right.
Look forward to adopting it.
Yep.
Okay, so we will move that then to adopt them at the November meeting.
And of course, I want to give credit also to our president, because he had a lot of input into it.
You.
Thank
I
you.
don't want to give all the credit to Councilor O'Connor, but.
All right, so there are. at
And of
least-
course, our town attorney, our brilliant town attorney.
What about me and Shannon? I'm sure we had
I'm sure you had something to
do.
do.
But
What I need
Is
is
they really?
at least three of us willing to put this on the agenda for November. So,
Yes.
okay, good. They're on the agenda for November. All right, next one is the fee schedule and
If I could take that one, EJ, if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So at the last meeting on the 6th, there was discussion about removing the fee for a tree removal if the tree is dead, diseased, etc. And after that discussion and after that meeting, it occurred to me that you might still want to charge a fee for a removal of a healthy tree. So that we would just clarify the fee schedule to reflect that. I think it was the intent from the last meeting to just remove the fee for dead trees, not for healthy trees.
Mr. Town Attorney, against my suggestion, it was removed. So I think what we really need to figure out is what was the public policy for having it in there in the first place? Has
To
that
offset Tolbert's fees in reviewing the tree.
So the fact of the matter is, if it's been changed, so.
Correct.
So the only issue tonight is whether if it was done in haste, and if the council wants to put it back, which means it has to be reintroduced,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
all right,
Or-
so what's the it in your sentence, Jeffrey? Are you talking about removing the fee for the dead tree? Is that,
I'm talking about what was last month when the fee schedule was being discussed and voted on, the council removed. Wasn't it like a $50?
Correct.
No, I think that was your motion.
Yes, I mean, just.
So,
yeah.
so if you all are satisfied with that for now, then we don't really have to do anything unless there a strong reason, or you took it out.
Yeah.
So I can't, so I just want to make sure that there wasn't a good public policy reason for keeping it in. But I can't change that myself. It's up to all of you.
I mean, I hear what the town attorney is saying regarding the sort of covering the town arborist costs. But for me, there were sort of two reasons why we made this change. One is on the cost issue is there's a cost for the town arborist to go inspect any tree, regardless whether it's a canopy or non-canopy tree. And so it made no sense to me that we had, if the objective was to essentially recover some of the cost of the town arborist, then that same rule should apply to any tree. But right now, we were only charging fee for the town arborist to essentially look at canopy trees. So this is the first. The second point that I think we talked about last time is that, you know, if a tree is dead, diseased, insect infested or injured, you know, the town arborist deems is beyond help, then it seems insult to injury to charge a fee to the homeowner who's already going to be burdened with the cost of something they didn't really want to remove, but have been forced to do it. So I'm trying to grapple with the fact that if we are going to have an inspection related cost, then shouldn't it be tree removal in general? Why say canopy tree removal? Any tree removal request should have a fee because the town arborist has to go inspect that.
Well, look, the permit's only required for a protected tree. That's why we use canopy there in the fee schedule. And I could be mistaken, and I apologize if I am, but my notes reflect that the motion was to remove the fee for the removal of a dead, diseased, or insect infested tree. And I note that I believe Councilman
I think you're
Novak
right.
said
You're correct.
double whammy. And so
Your understanding is correct.
in implementing that motion, it occurred to me, well, we didn't say whether we should remove it for healthy trees as well.
But we don't really, I mean, we probably, do we let people remove healthy trees?
Yeah.
Yes.
With a permit, yeah.
Don't
Why
they have
we
to replace it?
why- before you continue, why don't we have the town manager clarify what the minutes reflects is what action was taken? He's pulling up the minutes.
Thank you.
Because
Mr. Mayor.
it seems that you're not all on the same page as to what action was taken. And I just think it's important that some kind of so-called legislative history is created to justify you having, for the council having removed it. Because there was no opportunity for public comment or anything. So I think you need to have some kind of record to justify why you removed it, and Councilmember Khanna has begun to create that kind of justification. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Town Attorney?
Yeah, well said, Mr. Mayor. That was perfectly said. What I was attempting to do was to implement the intent as I understood it, because I understood that the fee was only being eliminated for dead and diseased trees. But if I'm wrong, then
So
we could restart the
Okay, so the
process.
town manager's gonna.
my notes reflect something sort of different, but very similar to the town attorney's, where my notes reflect that for now, the fee was completely removed, but the council wanted to discuss further whether there should be a fee for all trees or just healthy trees. So pretty similar to the town attorney's, just that.
Okay, so the fee has been removed.
For diseased trees. What?
No, for all.
So for.
Well, yeah, that's I would say that, yeah, that EJ's reading from the minutes is very similar to how the mayor introduced it, as the fee was removed for all trees, which if that's the case, then yeah, the mayor's quite right that what I've prepared would require a new legislative process. I wouldn't be implementing the intent then.
Okay,
The intent, at least my intent, was to remove the fee for dead and diseased trees. I think that was Rohit's intent too, right? Yes, and only that. Which I think is what you captured in your language.
Okay.
Okay, so that would mean that, are there three of you that want to charge the town attorney to write an amendment to the fee schedule to reflect?
It will be what is in this draft in front of us. Right?
Right.
Yes, yeah, that's right, Mr. Mayor. We could use what are before us now. If everybody agrees, that was the intent.
So do three of you want that to be on the agenda as an introduction?
Debbie, was that your intent too, when you voted that it was for the dead and diseased trees that we were removing the fee?
Yeah, I guess I hadn't thoroughly thought it through as well, though. You know, I'm really kind of torn. You know, kind of like a tree is a tree is a tree, you know,
But yeah,
Well, we have time now to discuss this.
I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks. And I'm really not certain.
right. I've had to remove several dead trees myself, and they cost money. You don't have to take down a dead tree if it's not going to endanger property, but if it is going to endanger property, you have to take it down. And the costs can go from a few hundred to, well, I've had to pay $6,000 once to take it down. Healthy trees are a whole different game because you don't want to take them down because they're healthy, unless there's a substantial reason that giving us.
What does Shannon think?
Yeah, I think that my intent was that it was for a dead or diseased tree.
Well, that's three of us.
Okay, so does that give you enough information?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Town Attorney to draft
Yes.
something for it to be introduced.
So, Mr. Mayor, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if what I've drafted is consistent with the motion that's already made, we would not have to reintroduce anything.
That's right.
I don't think it is. Is it? Why don't you read again what you have in the minutes?
Well, so since I just have a council actions, which is a bit less.
Hey, we could have a motion to amend the minutes.
Yeah, I mean, since the meeting is recorded, we don't post formal minutes, but in my notes
Right, we
show
don't.
that the canopy tree removal was removed because there was discussion on if only healthy trees should be subject to a fee or not. It's completely possible I misunderstood and thought that the fee was being removed in its entirety to be rediscussed at the work session.
Yeah,
But
that
it's
is,
also-
yeah.
my recollection is that the fee, because I was opposed to you to doing it because you removed the fee.
Yeah,
You want the fee.
yeah, given the confusion, maybe it's best just. to
I
put it
didn't
back
think,
on.
I didn't think it was you, from what I heard was that the fee was removed. And that's when I said, I don't think it's a good idea to amend something at the last minute. Because I don't. So at this point, I think we need to have the town attorney just rule how we should proceed to address the intent of the council.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Given the differences of opinion and recollection, maybe it is best just to place it on the agenda again for the November meeting.
Yeah, since it's a resolution, it doesn't need to be introduced and then adopted at separate meetings. It can be just introduced and adopted at the November meeting.
Correct, yeah.
So is that acceptable to three of you?
So what is it that's going to be?
We're going to reintroduce it at the November meeting to make it clear that it's only dead and diseased trees because it's not clear at the moment in the minutes of prior meeting. So we'll make
To
it
be
clear.
introduced and voted on the
So
same
what will be
meeting?
introduced?
Yes.
at the November council
Let
meeting and
Mr.
what is the
Yeah,
draft?
let Mr. Town Attorney.
Yeah, so essentially it's introduced tonight and it'll be subject to public comments and adoption at the November meeting.
Excellent, that's fine. We got it.
See, that's why we have a town attorney to resolve these things.
Yay, Toad.
All right. So we've got one more.
Thank
item.
you, Mr. Town Attorney.
My pleasure.
So the last item is discussion on the grant application for Little Falls Branch Stream Restoration. And we have the grant application now.
And I will note
It's a
that-
draft, I should say.
I would like to note that there are 2 members of Somerset House who were involved on the Zoom.
All right, thank you. So, who would like to comment first on it? The idea is we're writing a support letter, and actually the support letter already drafted. So,
So, Mr. President, do you want to allow the 2 people from Somerset House to identify themselves and to see if maybe councilors want to ask questions of them?
sure, we can do that. So,
Is that your pleasure?
Yes.
Okay,
so,
I
would
think it should.
the 2 of you who are on from Somerset House identify yourselves to us and maybe perhaps show your faces?
Are they
We
on?
prefer that they show their faces.
Yes, mine says that I can't, here we go, let's see, there, okay. I'm Stephanie Kenny and Charles Schill is also on with us. Charles has been the real driver behind this wonderful initiative, and we are very grateful, first of all, to Robin Barr and EJ, Kabir, Kelly Swain, and Patty Friedman for reaching out to us and meeting in September, doing a site sort of inspection together. And we take that as a very good sign. Also, your willingness to consider a letter of support is deeply appreciated. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have about the draft. We think that we will be having a final meeting on it next week, and that would finalize it and make it ready to go into the Chesapeake Bay Trust as a formal application, but we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Rohit.
Yes, thank you. So I appreciate very much that the grant application has been shared with us. It was one of the things that I had asked for before we finalized the letter of support. I have just a few questions. One is just perhaps a technical question, which did I understand correctly from the draft grant application that there would not be any significant or meaningful pollutant reduction? That is mostly sort of sedimentation reduction but pollutant reduction is not something that is anticipated. And I was just wondering if you could explain why, because water there does tend to be, and is there anything we can do through this restoration work to reduce the pollutants there and downstream?
Yeah. Yes, the major polluter has been the Chevy Chase Country Club. And on a volunteer basis earlier this year, because the problems, both sedimentary and murky looking, were sufficiently severe during the club's own reconstruction and renovation processes, we sicked the permit people on them and they got fined and had to shape up. But to answer your question, the larger problem is that is not something within our control and certainly within our area of the creek. The large percentage of the creek flow comes from upstream. It's canalized, its headwaters are in the Chevy Chase Club area, and it's canalized throughout Chevy Chase residential area on the east side of Wisconsin Avenue. And the portion of the creek that suffers because of the intensity of the flow and the elevation now of the flow is the only portion that is on our property. In other words, from the outflow at the bridge to about 350, 375 feet downstream, at which point the creek then crosses over into your property.
So just to clarify, so what you're saying is I don't know enough about the science here, but I'm just wondering, is there no vegetation or sort of wetlands kind of design that would mitigate the pollutants coming from the club?
Can I speak to that?
The reason that we have made this grant we're making this grant application is in order to be able to have professionals come in and, among other things, address that issue. This grant is to provide a concept and also an engineering design. Only when the work is done will we have a complete professional plan for then in order to execute the restoration. Right today, we can't say what's going to happen because we don't know. In general, because of the headwaters and the fact that our portion of the creek is a function of much further upstream, and if there is point pollution, for example, undue and inappropriate pesticides use upstream, that's not in our purvey to control. However, when the design team comes in, and if they have insights and suggestions, whether it is ways, as you suggest, to mitigate pollution through design in our area, we certainly want them to do that. We have not been happy with either the sedimentary pollution, that's the red look, or what we have not tested it yet, but what I call the murky green look isn't good either. But the good news is, since the Chevy Chase Club project was finished, we have been having much more clear, clean creek flow. And so much so that you can see even the baby fish in addition to the big fish.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My other question is, so I would just say that, I would definitely encourage the grant applicants to look into sort of pollutant reduction as a.
We are in total accord on that.
My other question is just for me to understand the role of Little Falls Watershed Alliance. Because in the grant application, it says that they have not done a stream restoration project before. So this would essentially be their first stream restoration project. Is it beneficial or advisable to have some other organization also involved in this grant, or does Chesapeake Bay Trust come in and provide some expertise in this area? Because it seems, I'm not quite sure I fully understand. We have an applicant that says they don't actually have experience in this area.
Yeah, no, I think the answer to that is twofold. First of all, there is probably not another organization that is as familiar and well-versed in the stream itself, in the creek itself, the branch itself, as the Alliance. We reached out to them. We became aware of the severe deterioration and problems in our portion of the creek because it runs through our property when we started restoring the devastated woodland that reaches up to the banks. It was only when we started clearing the invasives that we saw the bad condition of the erosion and started becoming more familiar with the outflow problems. So we reached out to the Alliance. A recognized NGO needs to make the application to the Chesapeake Bay Trust, which will be the source of the grant. And because the trust has done a great deal of work in this area on wastewater management and is very familiar with it, we feel quite comfortable with their level of expertise, because the people who are actually going to design the restoration is not the Alliance. They will only be the program manager, as it were, of the grant. But the restoration itself will be done by a professional stream restoration contractor. We have sought 3 bids in order to get a sense of what the magnitude of the design cost is. But if we get the grant, then of course we'll have to get up to date, because that may be a year or so from now. We'll have to get actual bid for work, and we'll select among those who are up for contracting. Our assumption is that the contractor is likely to be one of the 3 that have put together the proposals, because not everybody wanted to do it.
I have a question. So did the board of directors of Somerset House approve this application?
Yes, not of, we have 4 boards, one for
Right,
each of the
right.
buildings and the
Correct.
clubhouse.
Correct.
But it has been, we have been as careful in trying to bring our own community along as we have been in reaching out to our neighboring communities. And the answer to that is yes, there is a letter of support from our general from the general manager of our common grounds. That's the SHMA, the Somerset House
Right.
Management.
I'm familiar with all
Yeah.
that. And I've worked on it, but I was sort of curious as to why they would, I understand that it has to be an NGO, but to select an NGO that has no experience in stormwater management, what exactly is the role that, so you say that Little Falls Watershed Alliance will oversee the project? I don't understand. Will you be paying them?
Hey, Stephanie, can I answer that?
No.
So really what we have been doing with them is they've had experience in preparing grant applications in the past. We've never had experience doing that. So that's
Right,
the
makes
primary
sense.
function. And,
Yeah.
So they're involved really because of that expertise in preparing grant applications.
So you're saying that the only way to apply for this grant is through an NGO, and you selected Little Falls? Yeah.
That's correct. And
okay, excellent. Because I'm a member of the Little Falls Watershed Alliance, so I should put that on the record.
Yes.
Maybe you're in conflict, I don't know.
But I just wanted to make sure, because these grants are highly competitive, and
Yes.
I was concerned that when it's written in the grant that there's no experience, that might be a red flag.
No,
And-
the
and
experience
that
comes
was-
from, the only experience comes from.
They've
the
had
people-
they've had 6 Chesapeake Bay.
I understand that. I understand that, but just like Councilor Khan, this isn't my expertise, but to me, that was just a red flag. And of course, I want the Somerset House to get this grant, and perhaps that sentence should be taken out. I don't know.
The people who have the expertise are the contractors that we got proposals from.
Right.
So
But perhaps I don't think is it really necessary to put in that grant application that they don't have expertise in the area? That, to me, that's like a red flag.
Let us take that question. It's a good question, and I appreciate it, and we will look into that. I don't have the grant application in front of me, so
Okay.
I don't know if we needed to specifically respond to a very specific
Right,
question.
right.
And we don't want to be caught claiming something.
Right, I understand. I mean, I was very impressed with the length of the application and all the maps. Don't you agree, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
It
I have
was,
two questions.
yeah. So thank you.
All right, so Debbie, go ahead.
Yeah, just to say, you all have a wonderfully restored, I think it's 800 feet of stream as a result of the sewer project in the late teens. And part of the object of the design process is to, the term of art is tie up or tie in with your restoration in an appropriate and consistent fashion.
Thank you. Debbie,
I have two questions. Going back to the Little Falls Watershed Alliance, had you looked at any other NGOs that might have been in the running to use instead of them? Is this the only group you reached out to?
Yes.
Yes, it's the only group. Okay.
Yes.
The next question is on the budget, the estimated, design cost of $125,000. Is that, are you paying the Little Falls Water Alliance for their supervision? Or is that money all to go to a contractor to do what has to be done?
That is the cost of the contractor. That is what the contractor will have to deal with. We have proposals ranging from the high 90s to 185,000.
But what about, are you paying the Little Falls Watershed Alliance?
Not right now, no. This has all
No, but
been
will you? Okay,
volunteered
better-
work.
Let me be
Are they a
clear.
grant, beneficiary?
Yeah, yeah. Will they be paid? That's my question. Out of the grant. Or-
The grant will go to the contractor. If the contractor sees fit, that's the contractor's business.
I
The
understand.
But you are.
the Little Falls Alliance will be the overseeing project.
I get that, but my question is, will they be paid, or is this one of their volunteer? They do all this volunteer work. Is this a volunteer project, or are you paying them? That's my question.
We're not paying them right now.
I know not now.
Charles,
I mean
do you have
later.
do you have a view of a good answer on that? Because I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't have any sense that we're paying. No, we're certainly not paying them yet, and I don't know that we're going to pay them in the future, so we don't.
So that was my
that
question.
discussion.
My question wasn't yet, it was, in the future, will they be part of the paid group? And if so, I just wondered,
Debbie, could I rewrite your question? Are there any funds for the Little Falls Watershed Alliance in the grant application directly?
No,
No.
Okay, excellent. I'm satisfied with my, I'm just worried that when they see that sentence in there, there will be a red flag, but I'm glad you're gonna ask the question.
We will ask the
and
question and consider it.
And
Yes.
I'm sure that when the Chesapeake Bay group oversees this, they can always put some criteria in there. So let's just hope that the money is awarded and then I'm sure it'll be overseen properly once
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Because they're like a gold star organization, obviously.
Well, that's why we didn't go to anybody else.
Right, but also there are ways to assist that the members of your community can assist the Little Falls Watershed Alliance by getting people to join. Getting all the
Yes.
unit owners there to join and help, because they do a lot of excellent work like clean up in all of the parkland around here.
Yeah.
But they're basically an advocacy organization, as you know.
Yes.
That's why. it's
No,
so-
I started reaching out to them 2 years ago when we got into our woodland and reforestation project. Because I recognized that
Right.
they're
Well,
they're the go-to experienced
Well,
people in this
well,
area.
The founder executive director, as you know, lives in our town, as does one of the most prominent board members, so we know them very well. Thank you.
Well, we are very grateful to them and we're very grateful to you. If you'll excuse me, I have to go because I have another board meeting this evening. But we very
Thank
much
you for-
appreciate
thank
your
you for-
interest. We
Thank you,
very much
Stephanie.
appreciate your interest and hope
Yeah.
that we will continue to have something to coordinate on. We won't know until March, April, Charles,
March,
whether we get the grant,
yeah, in March.
end of March.
Mhm.
So we'll
Thank you.
keep everybody apprised all along the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Shannon, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I
Um,
think we can put it on the agenda just to.
I mean,
What's your
No,
feeling?
I'm fine. I think just the point you made, Robin, was very important for me to hear, which is that the Alliance would not be a grant beneficiary. It's important for us to know that for the reason that Jeffrey just pointed out. An office holder of this organization is a town resident, and if the town endorses the grant application which benefits a town resident, then I think that's important, something important for us to hear from the town attorney if there are any issues. But if you're saying that there are no, that, you know, no financial benefits will flow to any town resident from this grant, I have nothing further, and I think we can move forward.
All right, I mean, so we agreed that we can now send a support letter to the grant. All right, thank you.
Thanks very
Um,
much.
Well, mainly because we already, I mean,
We
although.
we approved it with conditions.
Yeah, we
and
approved it, so I think
I think the conditions have been satisfied. All right, I think we are ready to adjourn. Can I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank
All right,
you,
thank you.
excellent meeting. everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.